Hello, could you please introduce yourself for our students?
So my name's Edward Obi. I'm an alumni of the University of Aberdeen. I'm also the director of HR Hub Plus, Peridot Recruit, and I call myself a bridge builder, but although I am a founder of Diversity Bridge, which is a local ethnic minority-based charity established here in Aberdeen.
Thank you very much. And why did you choose to study strategic studies at the University of Aberdeen?
So strategic studies, initially I had this plan that I wanted to work in international organizations like the UN or EU. But, you know, it didn't, how can I phrase this delicately now? It wasn't a direction I then took, but, you know, I studied the course anyway and it gave me an insight about world politics, international relations, and all. And it was a very, very insightful course.
Yeah. And why did you change your mind to go into human resources later?
Well, human resources, you know, a long story, but to cut it short, it was a friend of mine. He actually had an issue at work, and I supported him through the process. You know, he wasn't successful through the internal process. He then decided to take the organization to a tribunal and then won. So my initial thoughts were about human resources, or the HR department is supposed to stop these things from happening. But it happened anyway. So I thought, okay, this might be a good direction for me, and I decided to just pursue a career there.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And how was your educational journey at Aberdeen different from RGU?
Now that's, how will I phrase this delicately now, because I'm an alumni of both universities now. But I think, first of all, the University of Aberdeen, great place, you know, I was a member of the Students' Association there, and I was also the Rector's Assessor. So I built this sort of familiarity with the University of Aberdeen. And I only decided to go to the Robert Gordon University when I decided to pursue my career in human resources. I think the only reason why I did it at the RGU was because it was affiliated with the CIPD then. So that was just the only reason. If not, I would have been at the University of Aberdeen.
That's very interesting. And what some of the key skills you learned at both universities that you still apply today?
Yeah, I think building relationships, very, very important. And I think that started when I was in the Students' Association as the junior vice president. So building relationships was essential, especially within the Student Association realm. I think that got elevated when I was appointed as the Rector's Assessor in 2005, alongside Robin Harper, who was the rectors of the University of Aberdeen then. So that was a different dynamic. I was then at the university court. I had to build relationships with, you know, the university leadership, and sitting at the university court was a different game in itself.
Yeah, so just to follow up about your activities as a student, did you join any other student clubs or societies?
No, I think it was just mainly the Students' Association then. So, you know, that by contesting for an election and winning, that gave me a wider sphere in terms of the student bodies association with the students. But that being said, you know, there were a lot of great associations then, and, you know, by virtue of my role, I collaborated with a lot of them.
Can you remember any projects you've been involved in?
In the school?
Yeah.
I think then, you know, diversity wasn't really one of those buzzwords that you hear now. But then being an elected member of the association, that brought prominence, which provided an opportunity, I would think, for ethnic minorities to sort of gauge and develop an interest into student association bodies as well. And I think by virtue of being then, and these were the words of Sir Robin Harper, then that was one of the first black elected rector assessors that sat at the university course. So I think that in itself was one of the benefits.
That's very impressive. And the next question is, have you participated in any internships or part-time jobs as a student?
Oh yes, I was working part-time then at Phones for You. I don't think it's in existence anymore, but yeah, it was a great opportunity then that provided an opportunity for myself. I also volunteered for a charity then. The charity is no longer in place now, but it was also a great opportunity for me to utilize the skill sets that I had, support the community support the charity, and then also support the community at large.
Interesting. And would you say your knowledge that you gained from studying strategic studies at the University of Aberdeen are beneficial in your career now?
Yeah, there are, because I think the course itself, Strategic Studies, provides you with some sort of different mindset on how to tackle issues that are in the world space at the moment. So I think the skill set I gained then was very, very essential. Even till now, I still utilize some of those strategies to develop myself and my business accordingly.
Interesting. And what is Diversity Bridge? Can you walk us?
Yeah, Diversity Bridge is, but let me just press the pause button on Diversity Bridge. Prior to when Diversity Bridge was established, I supported a lot of ethnic minorities by virtue of being a director with HR Hub Plus and Peridot Recruit. But then, because those businesses are profit-making organizations, I decided to put together a separate vehicle that was non-for-profit, and that's where the idea of Diversity Bridge came into place. And Diversity Bridge was established in April this year, so it's still a young charity, but we've supported the community through our charitable objectives, which is, the first one is ethnic minorities, that's the focus, equality, diversity and inclusion, and also providing mentorship opportunities and breaking down barriers that ethnic minorities, irrespective of where they're from, are facing as they come into Scotland.
It's very impressive, thank you. And the next question is, what is Peridot Recruitment Limited and HR Hub Plus Limited?
Yeah, you know, when I started my course, my postgraduate course in human resources, I was working in various organizations, public, private organizations. And then it got to a point 6 years ago, I decided to do something different. So I established HR Hub Plus first, which is all about supporting local businesses who can't afford a full-time HR representative. So they outsource it to organizations like us. We provide them the advice, guidance, and support, making sure that they're not leaving themselves exposed to unnecessary employment tribunal claims. Now, Peridot Recruit, as the name sounds, is all about recruitment, but you know, we're different from the normal traditional recruitment agency because we don't charge commissions. It's just for a fixed fee. We advertise the role across all the major job boards and act as the organization's recruitment department, making it easier and saving them time and money as well.
Interesting. And how many people work for this company?
Yeah, we've got a team of 6. Our office is just next door, this is the meeting room, but a team of 6. And I think what's important is that it's a diverse team of 6. We've got an Asian, a Ukrainian, we've got a Polish person, we've got a Nigerian, and we've got a Scottish person. So it's all about making sure it's as diverse as we can be.
Interesting. And do you think for people who are interested to go to HR, it's important to get CIPD qualification?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important because CIPD is the professional body, and you can't have any relevance within your sector if you're not part and parcel of a professional body that you're affiliated with. So CIPD is very, very important because, you know, when you go to the university, it's for a fixed duration, and after that you then leave and then progress your career. But being part and parcel of a professional body helps because that's ongoing. You get updated on certain issues, you get the relevant support, you also use it as a networking platform, so it's very, very important to be part of it.
Interesting. And how do you manage to be equally present in both projects?
In both organizations?
In both organizations.
Yeah, so the organizations, it's all about providing support to the community, the local community, and both organizations feed off each other. It's the same ethos, providing support either in recruitment on HR, and the most important thing is that the team, the diverse team we have, supports both brands and provides that support to members of the business community.
Interesting. And since you have a massive HR experience, what do you think is the key things how people stand out in their job applications?
I think the CV is very, very important. You need to make sure your CV tells the story because it's all about storytelling. If you have a CV in front of you from a recruiter's perspective, all I need to gauge an interest in the CV is like 6-7 seconds, because take a look at it and just scroll down. And if there's nothing that catches your attention in line with the job that the individual is applying for, then it won't make a difference. So my advice would be, as an individual, you've got the relevant skills, so you're in a better position to project that story to a potential recruiter. Make sure your CV delivers on that. That's very, very important. And if you don't know how to put a CV together, you can contact anyone with experience. You can even come to us. We can support you with it, because the CV is the gateway to any employment opportunities anywhere around the world. And once you get it right, you'll be there in front of an employer for an interview.
Thank you. And do you apply AI in your practice, and how?
No, we don't apply AI in our practices because HR recruitment is all about the personal relationships that you'll develop with the individuals who are applying for roles. Now, we have to evolve with the times. AI obviously will have its own input as time goes along, but it's all about developing and fine-tuning it to make sure it delivers the overall objective.
And how do you stay updated with changes in employment law?
Yeah. I'm a fellow of the CIPD, a chartered fellow, and I've been a member of the CIPD for over 18 years now. So, platforms like that are very, very essential for anyone's career, especially in the human resources space. So, whenever there's any change in employment law, we always get updated. We always have an opportunity to ask relevant questions. And we're also part and parcel of policy as well. So when, the current government, they've introduced various labor employment law reforms that will take place over a certain period of time. The CIPD is part of the discussions. The CIPD is having discussions with the government to make sure that everything's done right, the relevant time frame is being set so that businesses are not unnecessarily leaving themselves exposed.
Interesting. And what some of the challenges that you had to tackle in your career?
I think some of the challenges, personally, it's all about adapting to the environment that you're in. So as an employer and also a business owner, certain areas within the UK operate differently in terms of acceptability. Aberdeen is a great place. The business community have been very, very accepting. And you know, initially some people would have this view of unconscious bias against any business owned by an ethnic minority. But that is a myth. I'm not saying that things like that don't take place, but it's all about making sure that you adapt accordingly. And with the right service offering, I've met businesses who don't really care where you're from. All they want is a solution to their problem. And as long as you can resolve that, then that's fine.
And can you share any books or resources that were particularly beneficial in your career?
I think when it comes to HR, there's no one book that comes to mind. But in terms of resources, I would say that being a member of a professional organization is very, very important, because we've got resources there that you can adapt to, that you can read, that you can study, and these are developed by the professionals. So while in a book format, you know, there are issues that come with relevant updates, so you'd have to buy another book or another book. But being a member of an association, as soon as there are updates, you get informed, and then you then build that up. So personally, the professional organization is what I would go for.
In such a competitive job market, how do you think students who study for HR qualifications can stand out when they apply for human resources jobs?
So I think one of the key things with any student of HR is you have to have people management skills. And if you can develop that at an early age, then that's better. So during your course, whether it's a 4-year undergrad course or a 2 or 1 year postgraduate course, you will be working in a different environment. You might not be working in a HR function, but you'll be working with people. So it's all about harnessing those theoretical skills that you're gaining and making sure that you're practicalizing it in any workplace that you find yourself, so that that then supports your growth when you find yourself within a HR function.
Interesting. And the last question is, what advice would you give to your younger self? What would you have done differently?
Let's see, what would I have done differently? I think my advice to my younger self would be, never let anyone determine what your future would be. You're the only one that can determine that. So whether you're on the right path or a wrong path, it will lead you to a specific destination. So you have to choose what path you want to be on. Now, for me, I would just say, always focus on the right path and always ignore the naysayers, because there will always be naysayers. Now, if I had listened to naysayers or people who were trolling or bullying me, I wouldn't be where I am today. Now, that's the only thing. Just focus on you, focus on the bigger picture, have a goal, and stick to it. That's what I would say to my younger self.
Okay. Thank you very much.